Welcome. We are doing real composites. These are composites of actual figures. We call them practical problems, and we are going to find either the perimeter or the area for each figure. And please make sure you show your work. Write down what I put on here and then solve the math. So question number 1, how much carpet covers this living room? So we have interesting shaped living room. I see a trapezoid at the top and a rectangle at the bottom. So if I were to make the trapezoid line, it would be right here, and it would go up like that. That would be my trapezoid. And then I see my rectangle here at the bottom. Okay, couple things. If you have 25 at the bottom here for your rectangle, the length of your rectangle, then you would also have 25 at the top. We're going to need that for the other base. So I'm going to go ahead and write 25 right here because that's going to be the other base that I need for my trapezoid formula. All right, so let's go ahead and start. We have the trapezoid first. So this is going to be for my trapezoid. And again, you can find this formula for your test tomorrow. Is going to be on your formula sheet. And it's 1/2 the height times the sum of the two bases. Base 1 plus base 2. Okay, so my two bases, I have the 12 at the top, and we can call this base 1. My base at the bottom is actually the top of this rectangle, so it's 25, that's base 2. And then the height is right here. You see this height? That's your height. That's the same amount as this guy right here. So my height is going to be 5 feet. Now, if we come down here, it's just a plug and chug. So my area is going to equal 1/2 times the height, which we said was 5. Remember, when they're right beside each other, that means times the sum of the two bases. And the reason I say it like that is because you got to add the bases first. So we're going to have the 12 plus the 25. Please make sure that you add this first. So I'm going to put a little V here so you remember to add this first. So once you add that, then you just, you can write that number right here. And then you say 1/2 times 5 times whatever this answer is. And that will give you the area of the entire trapezoid. Now we have our rectangle right at the bottom. Looks like this. An area of a rectangle is length times width. Remember, when your letters are beside each other, that means multiply. So I'm going to have 25 feet is going to be my length, and 10 feet is going to be my width. It's a 25 by 10. So we say 25 times 10. And that's the area of your rectangle. Okay, now we're going to add these together to get the sum, to get the total area of our living room for the carpet. And remember, if we're talking about covering, that's how we know its area. So for our total area, we're going to have the red answer, which is the trapezoid, the area of the trapezoid, plus the area of the rectangle. And that's going to give us our total. Okay, and this is my total area. And that's all there is to number 1. Find the area of the trapezoid, find the area of the rectangle, add them together. Okay, pause the video, do the math, and then continue. Number 2, what is the area of the pool? Okay, so again, we're looking for area, and we have this semicircle, this half circle is taken out. So this is actually going to be subtraction. Some of you on the sheet today said that knowing when you're supposed to add and when you're supposed to subtract is one of the hardest things. If they want a total and nothing is taking out from it, they're not asking for a shaded region or anything like that, then you just add your shapes. If something is taken out, for example, if it's, a rectangle and they say, okay, don't, paint this middle, or they ask for the shaded area or anything like that, then you're going to subtract because you don't want this middle part. You got to take that out. So here I see, we can start with our rectangle because that's going to be the easiest shape. You see the rectangle right there? That's going to be the easiest shape to see. And that's going to be a 20 by 36. So if I do a rectangle here, right, it's long and thin, then that is going to be area equals length times width. I'm going to make my length 36. And again, remember, it doesn't matter which you make the length or width because you're just multiplying them. So we multiply 36 times 20. And that's the area of the rectangle. To find this semicircle, this pool right here, or this part that's not part of the pool, let me go back and switch it to line. Hang on. There we go. So you see the semicircle here? That semicircle is what we have for our part that we're going to remove. So we're talking about we're going to have to find the area of a full circle and then take half of it. So the area of a circle, and again, this is on your formula sheet, is pi r squared. So to find the r, we are given, if you can see it right here, because it's kind of covered up with the other lines that we drew, this piece right here, this 18, is actually the diameter. So to find the radius, you need to take the diameter and divide it by 2 because we need to split it in half. So the radius here is going to be 18 because that's our diameter divided by 2. And I'm going to let you guys do the math on that one. And the other piece of information is pi. And remember, pi is always 3.14. And if you forget that, that's also at the bottom of your formula sheet, 3.14. So now we do a little plug and chug. We have 3.14 times my radius squared. And I'm going to let you figure that out, right? So this answer right here should go right here. So remember to square it first and then do 3.14. So then you should get an answer. Now, because it's a semicircle, you want to divide this by 2. And we're doing this, you don't do this all the time. Like if it was a full circle, you would not have to divide it by 2. But since we're only looking for the half circle, we have to divide by 2. And then we will have the area that we need. So to find the area of just the pool, we're going to take the total of our rectangle. And in this case, we're going to subtract because we want to remove, get rid of this little semicircle right here. So we're going to subtract the area of half of a circle. And that will give us the total area of the pool. Okay, so again, this is going to be my total area, aka your answer. Okay, and that's all there is. Again, pause the video. You can either pause it while I'm doing the work and then grab your calculator and do it as you go, or you can watch the whole thing and then pause it and go back and fill in the blanks, whatever's easiest for you with the math. At this point, I'm going to clear out the screen so I can do 3 and 4. So do pause it. Make sure you have all the information for 1 and 2. All right, moving down to 3 and 4. Number 3 says, what is the length of the border around the window? We have lots of clues here that we're looking for perimeter. We want the length of the border, and then we have the word around. And this means that we are looking for the perimeter. Now, perimeter means we need to add up all the sides, right? Perimeter means the sum of all sides. And you can write this down if you need a reminder. Some of you guys are like, well, there's not a formula for this type of shape, or there's not a formula for certain pieces. And that's okay, because as long as we get all our side pieces, all we have to do is add everything up at the end. Oh, sorry guys. There we go. Sum of all sides. So the first thing I'm going to do is fill in as many sides as I know. So I'm going to fill in as many sides. Well, this right here looks like a rectangle to me. So if this side is 48, I also know that I've got to stop right here, right? Because the 48 only goes up this high. But this amount would also be 48. Because these two have to be congruent because it's a rectangle. So from here to there, just like on the other side, is 48. Now I need to do this circle right here. So I'm going to change colors real quick. And if you look here, you will see a semicircle, or half of a circle, right? So when we're doing circles, and we want to find out the perimeter going around a circle, we need circumference. And we do have a formula for that. So let's look at that first. So if I have a circle, and I want to do the circumference. And remember, circumference means around a circle. So I have C. I have two different formulas I could use. I could use 2 pi r, or I could use 2 pi d. And remember, d stands for diameter, and 2 times r, the radius, is also the diameter. In this case, because I know my diameter, right? Again, it's a rectangle, so I know my diameter is 36, because that goes all the way across. That's my diameter. And I got that down here just in case you were wondering. I am going to use pi times the diameter. I'm going to use this formula because it's just easier than taking half of 36 and then multiplying it back by 2. It just undoes it. So circumference is going to equal 3.14 times my diameter, which is 36. Now be very careful because, again, like in number 2, we don't want the entire circle, right? We just want half of it. We just want a half circle. So we're going to have to divide this answer, whatever you get, by 2 because we're talking half. So then that'll give you your circumference. So to find out the perimeter of all the sides, we simply add them up. So if I say perimeter equals, I'm going to take my sides that I'm given, so I got my 48 plus my 36 at the bottom, right, 36, plus my other 48, plus the circumference that I got from doing my formula here. So I'm going to put a blue line for that. So 1, 2, 3, you should have 4 numbers that you're adding together, and that will give you your total perimeter. All right, and that's all there is to that one. And finally, number 4, what is the area of the lawn around the house and garage? So this is another one where you're going to have to subtract, because if we're looking for the area of the lawn, you don't have a lawn in your garage and in your house, so we can't just do the entire rectangle and be done with it. We're going to have to figure out the area of these smaller pieces and then subtract them from this big piece. So let's make some lines here to make life a little easier. First, we do need our big piece. So we have this nice rectangle right here. And that's going to be the easiest thing to figure out. So our first rectangle is going to be this big one. So we're going to have length times width. So we'll make 200 our length, and we'll make 100 our width. Okay. Oh, more stuff coming through. Hang on. See, remind me later. All right, there we go. So we have area equals length times width. And that's going to be 200 times 100. It's a pretty big lawn, huh? All right, now if you look, we have 2 smaller houses, or 2 smaller rectangles in the middle. We have our garage, so let's do that one first. So we have a garage here. And then we're going to have our house. So if we look just at the garage, we're going to have a little rectangle. And the nice thing is it's the same formula. Area equals length times width. And we can make our 30 feet the length, and we can make our 24 the width. So we're going to have area in this case is going to equal 30 times 24, and that's going to be how big our garage is. I have all sorts of stuff popping up tonight. In case you didn't see this up top, I guess I need to back up my computer. All right, finally, our last piece, my goodness, so much pop-ups. We'll make this green, is the actual house, right? So we have, oh look, I can just do that. Life is easy. So we have our nice rectangle of our house, which in fact 40 by 40 looks to be a square. Now you can use the formula for a square, which is side squared, right? S squared. But you can also, because a square is just a rectangle with the same sides, so to be honest, I would just use length times width. It's just easier. I mean, you're still multiplying the same things. So we have, in this case, area equals length times width. And our length is 40 and our width is 40. So this one's going to be 40 times 40. which I hope by now you know is the same thing as saying 40 squared. So that's going to give me the area of the house. Now, you would not add all this together because it's overlapping, right? The house and the garage are over top of the big rectangle. What we want to do is subtract the garage and the house from our lawn, from this big rectangle. So the way you're going to find the area of the lawn around the house and garage is you're going to take your big total here and you're going to subtract both the little pieces. So we're going to take away our garage. That's a little crooked, but that's okay. And we're going to take away our house. And then you're going to find your total area. Now remember, if you get a negative number, you have done something wrong. You should never have a negative number on any of these measurement pieces because you can't have a negative measurement. It doesn't exist. So this would be your total area of just the lawn. And that's all there is to this worksheet. Remember, pause it if you need to fill in the blanks. Raise your hand if you end up with a negative number, or if you get stuck, raise your hand. Ask how you, sorry, there we go, stuff like that bugs me. So anyway, if you have any questions or anything, please raise your hand and we'll come over. We will ask if you've watched the video and listen to the video first, so please do that. Other than that, good luck. Thanks, guys.